Hey there, YouTube. How's everybody doing out there today? Hope your week got off to a good start. It was just another quiet football weekend here in South Alabama, and we have some actual real fall temps coming after today. We're going to be down in the 40s and even the high 30s later this week, so I'm pretty happy about that. I sleep really good when the temperatures tend to go down, but today what I've got is 5 recommendations for a healthy raw vegan diet. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. When I do these videos, I don't try to get tricky with them. I don't get, I don't try to just come up with anything I can do. I just kind of like to keep, it's like being an old school coach. We'll use some sports metaphors here. If I was a coach, I'd probably be old school, and I believe in the fundamentals. Always teaching the fundamentals, practicing the fundamentals, coaching the fundamentals, and just the basic stuff. Most of the time in life, if we stick to the basics, we'll be okay. It's when we start to get a little creative and out there and this and that, that it can get a little bit complicated, because this isn't a very complicated diet or lifestyle or way to eat, whatever you want to call it. And if you kind of just start thinking about what your body needs as opposed to what your tongue is or your cravings are asking for, and you really kind of put your nutrition first, then it'll just kind of all fall into place for you, and a lot of those cravings will fall away. And after a while, you'll just kind of find yourself you'll just find yourself making the better choices all the time, and you don't have to think about it too much. So number 1 is fruit. Fruit. Eat as much fruit as you want. Now, I don't eat as much fruit as I did when I was in Costa Rica, just simply, common sense. There was a lot more fresh fruit available down there. There was always mangoes around. There was always papayas around. There was always pineapples around. And not only were they always around, they were at a very affordable price. Papayas get a little bit, I get them here, but they get a little bit pricey. The mangoes go away. They're not really all that much right now. And pineapples can be a little bit pricey compared to they are in the tropics. But still, fruit, lots of fruit. I eat my fruit every day. And my biggest recommendation about the fruit is no matter how little, whatever you're eating, start your day with fruit. Start your day with fruit. That's 99% of my first meals of the day. Whether it's an ice cream, hey, I had an ice cream this morning, but it's just frozen bananas, or whether I chop up some fruit, whether I have a fruit smoothie, an acai bowl, whatever, start that day with fruit. Nice way to ease into the day for your digestive system, and just start that day with fruit. Greens, you need greens in your diet. Listen, I'm not here to argue with anybody. You're not going to never get a debate out of me, but I'm not on the fruitarian train of hey man, it's just all about fruit. Just eat fruit, eat more fruit, eat fruit. I'm a big believer in greens. I'm always going to be. Nothing's going to ever change my mind on that. So if you don't, we can just agree to disagree. But I think the greens are very important, and I don't mean just getting a few in throughout the day to say, okay, I scattered some greens in. Getting as many greens as possible. I try to have a big salad every day. I try to have big green smoothies throughout the week where I'm cramming lots of kale in there. One thing I would recommend that I don't do as much of here is, if you can, rotating and getting variety within your greens. I don't have access to a lot of good greens here, so I tend to go very, very heavy on the kale, but I've recently found some fairly decent priced arugula. But if you're in a place where you can get lots of different greens, mix them up, but get as many greens in your diet as possible throughout your day. And like I say, sometimes it takes eating them more than once to be able to get them all in. Lentil sprouts. You've heard me, if you've watched my video, more than probably 2 or 3 of my videos, you've heard me go on and on and on about lentil sprouts. Well, as I freely tell you in a lot of videos, I'm not fully raw vegan 100%. I'm just not obsessed with that thing. So I do eat legumes. I probably eat legumes once a week, twice a week, maybe on average 5 or 6 times a month. But almost every day. And this is what I recommend. If you're going to be 100% raw, if you don't eat anything cooked, sprout lentils. Sprout lentils. It's not expensive. You can get like a 5-pound bag of organic black lentils for probably $25 or $30, and that $25-$30 will last you probably over a year. That is if you're sprouting as heavily as I do. I've still got some about a year and 2 months later. Wonder that's just so good for your body. And the legumes, honestly, I believe we need legumes in our diet. And if you're not going to eat cooked, which that's perfectly fine, sprout those legumes. And if you do, go do some searches on Google, sprouted lentils versus non or versus cooked, you'll see that the sprouted does have a very good profile, and you absorb a lot of the things in lentils that you don't necessarily absorb with the cooked. But look into that. The next one is another one, just very basic common sense. I almost feel silly having to say this, but you've got to eat enough. This is not a diet. This is not about restriction. And the cleaner you eat, the more real food, the more you can eat. And the more you can eat, the more variety you're getting in. Ergo, getting in all the minerals, vitamins, nutrients that your body needs to take in. So you need to eat enough calories for your body size, for your activity level, and you need to make they don't need to just be empty calories either. You need to fill them up with those things that we're talking about: the fruit, the greens, the sprouts, and a variety. I've also said that a million times. I didn't. That's one thing that actually I got better at once I moved back to the United States. It was just kind of an evolution. You learn things, you start trying things, you hear about more things. But it was really about starting to connect with that gut biome. And when I started listening to talks by Dr. Bulsiewicz from Fiberfueled, and I'm going to read that book. I slow down on my reading a little during football season, and I got a few ahead of it. But variety, and try to get colors in, get lots of colors in throughout the day. That's really, I do that. I show a good example of that when I make my daily salads on any given day. And go back and check me on the last what I ate in a day video. But on my usual salad right now is I will have a monster bowl. I'll have a whole head of red leaf lettuce. Got my greens in there. I'll chop up some cucumber in there. I'll chop up some tomato in there. I always almost always, I try to keep it prepped in the fridge. I almost always put some chopped broccoli. I put some chopped purple cabbage. I put my lentil sprouts. I put this fermented stuff, like kind of kraut. I mix it up. Sometimes I get kimchi. Sometimes I get sauerkraut. Sometimes I get, it's kind of a sauerkraut of purple cabbage, beets, and carrots. But I put that in there. And then I'll even sprinkle, for a little bit of texture, I'll sprinkle some sunflower seeds on top of that. So right there, we've got like 7 or 8 things going. I try to mix in carrots as much as possible, different parts of the country, you probably get different things, but just think variety. Our gut biome likes as much variety as we can put into it. I start trying different things. One thing I've started eating over the last month or two is kiwis. Simple little fruit. Not expensive at the grocery store, great for vitamin C. Started adding kiwis in. And that also, when I started doing that, it started making me think like, okay, there's a lot of little fruits that I can eat. I'm not getting my mangoes at the prices or the quality I want. I can't afford to buy papayas all the time. I can't necessarily afford to buy pineapples all the time. But little things like kiwis, oranges. I'm going to eat oranges. I'm going to eat a lot of oranges over the winter. And that's partly, a lot of that's for economic reasons too. Like I used to make 2, 3, 4 winters ago, I'd make 32 ounces of juice every morning. Well, juicing oranges gets expensive, but just eating an orange or two, not expensive at all. And the profile of vitamin C in an orange, I think probably you get your recommended allowance of vitamin C in a day by 1 orange. Definitely by 2 oranges, and when I'm eating other stuff, I'm good with that. But Yep. So, like I say, there's a lot of other things to that, but these are the basics. Just pound these over and over and over. And like I say, when you're making decisions, I do this a lot of times too because I get taste for things. It's not like I am just a robot. Like there's certain days where I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like this today, and I'm like, but you haven't gotten this yet, and you need to make a salad. You need to do this. Point being is get the things. If you'll do this little mind trick on yourself, and I'll finish with this, if you just kind of tell your mind at the beginning of the day, I'm going to eat all these things that I need to eat, that do my body good, that give my body what they need, and after I get all these things in, then if I'm still hungry and if I want it, I'll give myself that treat or whatever that thing is you have a particular taste for. But just like I say, it's about priorities. It's about what you're doing. Are you putting food in your mouth just to entertain yourself? Ooh, that tastes good. Are you a foodie, or are you trying to make your body as healthy as possible? Prevent disease, prevent cancer, prevent heart disease, prevent diabetes. But anyhow, just my 2 cents on the subject. Hope you enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great, powerful week, and I'll see you here tomorrow or Wednesday. Peace.